part of our series, Every State Has a Story. We're focusing on issues that are on the campaign trail and also affecting real people and their everyday lives. And Major Garrett joins me now. You've got an installment in that series, a multi-generational story.
It really is. You know, when we were here 4 years ago covering the primary, the opioid conversation was just beginning to filter into the broader campaign conversation. Now Democrats campaigning here not only talk about it all the time, but they make stops to meet voters at rehab facilities. Wow. That explains the pervasiveness of this crisis and, as we learned, its devastating effect on families here in New Hampshire.
Paula Wilson is 64 years old and a recovering opioid addict who has also struggled with alcoholism. She's the cleanest family member to raise 16-year-old Devon, her grandson.
He's a high-risk kid because of a number of factors. You know, his early childhood experiences, the family history.
Devon, at times reluctantly, has lived with Paula for 8 years.
I don't really think of my past at all, so I kind of just ignore it.
The toll on the Wilson family, almost unimaginable.
Both my husbands were heroin addicts. 3 of my children have been multi-drug use, but primarily opioids have been their drug of choice.
That's a lot for one family.
It is a lot. It's a large family, and the cycle of addiction is strong.
And repetitive.
So we're en route to a report of a 55-year-old female who's overdosed.
Manchester, New Hampshire District Fire Chief Mike GAMACHE.
We see some of the same people all the time.
Last week in Manchester, firefighters found this woman unconscious on a sidewalk before she came to. They suspect she overdosed on opioids.
It seems like the opioid epidemic is sticking around.
New Hampshire is among the top 5 states for opioid-involved deaths. Its mortality rate is more than twice the national average.
New Hampshire has been particularly hard hit. And
Democratic candidates field questions about opioids at almost every stop.
And the time has come to recognize that addiction is a medical issue.
When these pharmaceutical executives know that they are pushing a drug that hurts people and they keep pushing it, they are personally responsible. They can be held criminally responsible.
Several have highlighted the issue at rehab facilities. Research shows the number of children across the country in foster care due to parental drug use has more than doubled in the past 20 years, something experts have linked in part to the opioid epidemic.
We're raising a nation of parentless children, directly related to the opioid crisis. The biggest loss is that grandchild relationship. It's something to grieve over.
You've got to be the heavy.
I am the heavy. You know, I am. I'm the parent.
Devon swims and runs track. He likes hanging with athletes and says he's seen enough of addiction.
I don't know. I don't fear anything.
Nothing.
Not about my future at all. No, I'm not scared at all.
Paula told us she started talking to Devon about the fears that she has that he will fall into this opioid use problem when he was about 10 years old. It's part of the stress in their relationship because her fears are so pervasive and he's tired of talking about it. He wants to move on and build a future for himself, Tony. And it's part of this generational dilemma in this state.
What are candidates saying they're going to do to change the dynamic?
So all the Democrats are saying, look, hold the drug companies accountable, pursue them in civil court or if possible criminal court. Andrew Yang and Pete Buttigieg have said, hey, maybe it's okay to have legalization for small amounts of opioids. President Trump declared this a public health emergency in 2017 and has suggested the death penalty for people who sell opioids illegally.
Major, thank you very much. It's a reminder of the stakes when elections happen. And for anyone out there who's feeling a little cynical about politics, you've had enough of it, I suggest come out to a polling place like we have today. When you see people walk by and participate in that simple American tradition, that simple act of casting a vote, it truly is inspiring, guys.
It's always exciting to see that happening. Tony, thanks.